Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews from Classical Guitar Shed, and welcome to this course on Espan by Gaspar Sanz. This is a classical tune. It's been around for hundreds of years, and it is a joy to play. What I've done here is created a couple of different versions of this, one that's easier and then another one with ornaments and all kind of dress up. So what we're going to be doing in this video is taking a look, getting an overview, talking about the challenges that you'll face when playing this tune, and also talking about how we'll go forward and how this course is organized and how it's all put together. But before we get into all of that, let's just take a listen. Great. So in version 1, if you'll just glance here, there are no ornaments, and also the harmonies, meaning the chords, are a little bit thinned out so that it's easier in the hands. It's easier in the left hand and also in the right. If you'll notice here, what we have are these numbers right here, and this is how we'll organize the course. What I've done is taken it and split it apart into practice sections, and then we'll go through and spend a little bit of time on each section just to right there. Whenever you have a practice section in a piece of music, because one of the first things you can do is break it into small sections. Always go over a bar line. This is just a little note here, but always go over a bar line, and that'll make it sound more beautiful. So the way that we've organized these sections is so that they go in a natural phrase. Like if it was a sentence, it would go to a period. In the more advanced version, and you can play these back to back, then we've added in, and these are natural, ornaments. And so these are trills, these are ornaments. You'll also find the right hand fingerings, and this is the PIMA, just in case. P is the thumb, I, M, and A is the ring finger. So all the fingerings are written above. So as we go through, we'll look at each right hand fingering, get that separately, get the left hand fingering, look at what all needs to happen to there, and then we'll put them together, we'll look at the rhythm, and then we'll also put in some phrasing and beautification. We're part of the beautification movement here, and so we'll look at the phrasing and the expression so that it flows. Ideally, it flows from the beginning of the piece all the way to the end of the piece in one beautiful line. And if you look up at the top right here, you'll notice a word, and that is grazioso. And what does grazioso mean? It means like an animal grazing in a field. Just kidding. It means graceful and elegant. And so we want to play this thing gracefully and elegant, but what does that actually mean whenever we get down to the nuts and bolts of how we're moving our hands and how we're connecting one note to the next? What does it actually mean to play graceful and elegantly? And so we'll definitely talk about that and look at it. It all comes down to the details. It's how one note connects to the next note. It's how your hands set up and prepare for the next move. It's all these things together, and so that's how we become graceful. Of course, if we're just starting with the piece, it's not going to be graceful, because just as when we start to walk, we're not graceful. As children, we're not graceful. It takes time and it takes practice to become graceful, but it comes with the details. It comes with one note connecting to the next and preparing and articulating each note, and just playing it one moment at a time. So we'll talk all about that as well. So before we dive in, let's talk about ornaments for just a second. So this is an ornament. It's written like this. It's a little trill. To listen to it. And the temptation is, whenever you're first learning a piece of music, is to play it so that we look at the... And that's the first thing that we do. Because why? Because the notes are there already, right? And so we want to go ahead and play them. But there are rules. Ornaments have rules. And one of the main rules is that an ornament cannot step on the rhythm of the underlying line. So as our melody is actually this, just like in the version 1 here. Like this is our melody line, and then the ornament is just garnish, right? It's exactly that. It's an ornament. Just like we don't want an ornament on a tree to completely take down the tree, just like in Charlie Brown Christmas or something, then we also don't want the ornament to mess up the rhythm of the piece. And that's very frequently what happens when we put them in at first. So instead, to get the rhythm of the piece right, to also get it into our ear what the actual melody is without the ornament, then we always want to first learn it without the ornament. No ornament. And then, once we've got that down, then we can add in the ornament. And we can also then, we'll be able to compare what it is without the ornament and the timing and the phrasing, because if we want to get quieter to that note, but then whenever we play an ornament, we go and hammer it because we think we have to do this big thing, then it's not going to sound good there. So there's a lot to ornaments, and we'll get into them in depth here. But the main thing is that as you're first learning a tune with ornaments, then you don't play the ornament at all. You take it out and you only play the fundamental note, which is the big note it's the one actually on the beat. And so also what we have when we have ornaments is that there are a couple of ways to play ornaments. We could play them on the beat. Ba-da-dum. We can also play them before the beat. Boom, dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. So that's the beat. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Or we can play them on the beat. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Or we can kind of spread them out. Boom, bum, ba-da-dum. And so it's the beat somewhere in there, but it pretty much just spreads the beat out to where you don't really exactly know where the precise beat is. It just enlarges the beat. And so with music from this time period, Renaissance and Baroque, we oftentimes usually put it on the beat. So the beat is with the first note of the ornament, and then the ornament comes after. Ba-da-dum, even though it's written the opposite. So that the grace notes, the little ornament notes are before the beat. We actually put the first one on the beat, and then they go afterwards. And so that's just the way it is with music pre-1750-ish or so. Before that, you typically do it, and then it's back and forth after that. So with this piece, we'll definitely put them on the beat. And that's a general guideline. It's not always true either way, but it is a general guideline to do that. And I failed to mention this earlier, but if you would rather use tab or you need to check any fingerings or anything like that, then there is a tab version in the resource packet for this as well. So you can find the tab for all of this. But reading music is cool, so it's good to do it. So the way we'll go through this course is that we'll start with the easy version. I'm not going to say easy. It's not easy. It's the simpler of the two versions, the more stripped down of the two. It's version 1. So we'll start with this one and go through, and then we'll go through the more advanced version. And the more advanced version is very similar to the easy one. So even if you're going to play the more advanced version, I would play both of these and just do it as a pair. It just lengthens the song. It makes it nice. But so we're going to start with this one, go through, and then go through the more advanced version. So get all of your music printed out and ready to go. Get your pencil handy to make notes. And we're going to jump right in. See you in the next video.